All right, let's get started in this startup showcase. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and presenting a few slides. So today's theme of Inspired AI is the state of AI, which is a great topic and one that's very dear to my heart. I've been working in AI for over 30 years now, starting in the early 90s. And wow, a lot has changed, and it's very exciting to to see AI taking center stage in society, and with AI teams being established in so many large companies, AI research completely exploding in terms of number of people involved, students signing up for AI classes all over the world. And it's also a super exciting time in terms of the progress in the state of the AI. What was hot a year ago or even 9 months ago is no longer so today. New techniques, new data sets, new software libraries, and new ideas are being introduced all the time, every day, every week, which is super exciting and is pushing us ahead in the technology. But it's also presenting somewhat of a problem for practitioners and experts because it basically makes us go crazy. It's very hard to keep up with all the new stuff. And the other side of that is that if you kind of tune out and dive into your project, it's also very easy to miss things. So this fear of missing out with information overload, that's the state of AI research today. And just a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, people were actually keeping up with the state of AI by reading everything. So as you might know, a lot of the AI research is actually not going on in the sort of traditional academic literature, but it's going on open source, on blogs, on company pages, but especially on archive. So preprints of research papers being published without peer review on archive, that's the main forum where AI progress is being made. And in this graph, you actually see how that amount of publications is exponentially growing. So right now, we're in end of September 2020, and already we have more publications this year than we had in all of 2019. So that's growing by 40-50% per year. And there are now, my estimate, over 1 million AI and data science practitioners and experts in the world, or students. And they all have to keep up with this stream of new ideas, new research, new data sets, new technologies, new techniques, new implementations. And that's hundreds of important and relevant papers. And I'm not even counting the blogs per day. So why do current academic research solutions, why are they not good enough for this? Well, first of all, they're really very generic. So they're not focused on AI at all. You see AI, if you search for a technique like BERT, which is now the hottest new development, and transformers, which are the hottest new development in NLP, and also increasingly in computer vision. You find them mixed with electrical engineering articles, people named BERT, pharma, medicine, chemistry, and everything. So the other thing is their search technology is rather old school. It's very much keyword based. So you get exactly the papers that match the keywords that you type. Search engines deliver you the papers that you find with those keywords, and then you can read them and dig in for the finer details until you read them. But who has time nowadays to read maybe more than 5 papers per week? If you're not a PhD researcher, but you're actually an industrial R&D person in busy projects, you're lucky if you have time to read a few papers per week, but those should be the most relevant papers. And last but not least, current search engines for academic research don't really support a lot of the workflow around organizing your work, keeping track of the progress of your projects. So what we're looking to do is really melt that world of sort of search technology and infuse the latest developments in a neural network-based natural language understanding, so neural network-based NLP models and neural network-based search tools to give this very domain-specific search capability for AI knowledge, both at the paper level, at the document level, but also kind of at the fact and answer to specific question level, which we call kind of the microscope, but also at the same time give you an overview over an entire area, like automotive automation or fraud detection or computer vision under a telescope view. And add to that the tools to organize your knowledge around the projects and topics that you're interested in. So I already mentioned a bit BERT and transformers. So I think the original BERT paper came out now 2 years ago, and wow, a lot has happened since then. So basically, there was a big jump in natural language understanding capability, serving both machine translation, summarization, question answering, and the progress has just been tremendous since then. There are new models coming out in that line of work every couple of weeks, and they're pushing the state of the art on many of these data sets. And the core of that is these very large neural network models called transformers. So we basically employ those exact same models. So in some sense, we're saying to AI people, why don't you take a little bit more of your own medicine to organize the knowledge in your own domain? So we're looking at language, at words, sentences, paragraphs, and documents, really as points and paths in this neural network, very high dimensional vector space. We're using fast approximate nearest neighbor search for the similarity search between these vectors, and that allows us to compare things which don't share the same keywords, basically to unlock the meaning of text through this vector similarity rather than through keyword matches. So on this technology basis, we have built with my company Zeta Alpha. Here's a nice team picture in the startup village in Amsterdam, where I'm presenting from right now. We have built this platform called AI Research Navigator, which is a smart, state-of-the-art AI search engine, which is reading all the literature and blogs and related documents in the AI domain. It's also a platform to organize your work and do some of these things that you typically would do in platforms like Evernote or Trello, or just your own notebook to keep track of your work. And we think that it will allow you to be more productive in AI research and make better technology decisions. So what's in behind this platform? Well, basically, we ingest daily the new papers from open publication platforms like Archive. We crawl papers about AI and data science from conferences, and we also ingest more practical information around code and application how-tos from blogs like Towards Data Science. We link this information to a domain-specific knowledge graph, which contains both authors and papers and citations, which you need to assess impact and authority of certain works, but also a conceptual framework of data sets, algorithms, people, companies, techniques, metrics that are important in reading those papers and the relationship between them. And that allows us to answer very complicated domain-specific queries, like some of the examples that you see here, like how many parameters are in ResNet 50, like special fact nugget, which is hidden somewhere in a paper, and we can answer that without requiring you to read the whole paper. So just a very brief glance in this startup pitch here. This is the platform. So you dive into it as a modern kind of user-friendly search engine where you can search using natural language, answer questions, get an overview of the domain by visual analytics, but at the same time also work with your results and tag papers into projects that you define into your personalized taxonomy of the AI world. Leave notes on papers and organize your work around the projects and topics that you're interested in. And then once you start doing that, you don't need to, type in complex queries or set up kind of information profiles. Once you start saving results in these personalized tags, that starts to lead to recommendations powered by the underlying vector-based AI search engine, which alerts you to filters for you all the new information coming in from archive blogs and all the other sources. And that helps you to stay up to date and be that person who's aware of the latest publications and state of the art without spending hours on archive reading through all the titles and abstracts. And the tool also allows you to share these papers and lists with your colleagues. So thanks. That's a quick pitch for Zeta Alpha and for our new product, AI Research Navigator. We have a bunch of cool features that you can use today, and we're working with a team in Amsterdam to add more cool stuff in the future, including navigating around peoples and companies, finding code and data sets, and also searching your team's private information sources like project reports, Slack, and things like that. So contact us on our website or follow us on Twitter, and we'll be happy to give you an in-depth demo. And if you have any questions, please type them into the chat, and I will answer them now on in the session, or I will take them, contact you in the chat or later offline. Thanks.